Super Saturday for round 5 is in the books, and JB's about to be on tour, guys. I'm actually heading off to Europe today, so I will still be continuing with the videos. There's maybe a little bit of a delay here. I'm doing this Super Saturday one. I'm going to do the 5 things I learnt for round 5 without the final 2 games being played, so that will come out after the games this evening. And there might be a bit of a gap before I can get a video done with the big travel plans. And we do have Heath and also Nathan going to take over the 3-game impact video and give their thoughts there on their sides, as well as, you know, the best teams to target, the teams maybe to avoid over the next few games, and just give their take on things as well, just to help me out. But everything else will stay as per program over the next 3 weeks. I'll be back sort of, Thursday night in 3 weeks, which will be good. So I'll be off enjoying some Italian pizza. Can't wait for that. And we'll get into this one now with the Eels defeating the Dragons. And we also had the Dolphins winning their first game as well. So shout out to those 2 teams. They're on par now with the Panthers, which is pretty crazy. But Lomax is really getting the job done. And we'll go through the 5 things I learned and a little bit about some of the clutch play and different things in the next video. Gutho with 83. So I did own him in Supercoach. Didn't captain him, sadly. One Payne Haas destroyed us all last night with the low minutes and just the way the game played and his lack of TBs and offloads. But we'll get to that a little bit later. And Gutho against his whole team, an impressive 83 here. And there were some decent scores in this one. We had at least, in this case, 7 scores from 50 and above, which the way this started, and I think maybe some of the scores were a little bit off because we saw Couchman have a pretty big update there. That we, it was a decent level of scoring with plenty of guys over 40 there. But Gutho's 83, not highly owned, and that brings him up to a 54 average, and terrific start to the year for him in his new role at a new club. 4 line breaks, 2 tackle breaks, 7 tackle breaks, 2 tries in this one, 7 kick defusals, just everywhere, doing his best work against his old side to get the win. And sadly for me, in this game, I didn't have any players. I did actually hold my trade in the end. I didn't bring in Dylan Egan. And I was like, I feel like Iongi, with wing fullback, being pretty tough now. A couple of issues in halfback. Does Campbell need to move up? These types of things. I was like, I'm probably going to need Iongi going forward. And when we looked at him and Sandon, they could be used as guys to trade out, but they also sat in a situation where they had low 20s break evens, and it's not too far a stretch to get that. And where they're priced at in the mid 20s there, it's very easy to go well. And I was like, well, Jack Cole, he's in a situation where he's probably going to be a sell. And is Iongi definitely a sell with wing fullback being really tough? Maybe not. Egan I really want, and I think it'll help me, but I think Iongi can be held, and thankfully that worked out. But Egan was a great pick as well, and I had him as my best cash cow of the week, outside of Jenkins, and he did great. He played 54 minutes and was awesome. But that was the decision I made. I was like, well, maybe I can just sell Cole to Egan next week if things work out. If Iongi doesn't continue if he continues to struggle, then maybe he can be a sell as well. But their little run over the next few, surely the Eels get better, and they finally got a win in this one. So that was my final trade update. I didn't make that second trade this week. I'd max traded, and I was like, let's just hold that final one this week, given that Iongi or Egan, who I was going to trade in, weren't going to be in my starting 17 anyway, which I wish they were instead of Alex Seyfarth, but that's okay. Dylan Brown with the 81 for him. A try saver, 1 line break, 1 try assist. For him to go 81, pretty spectacular. And this is some of the scoring that we actually saw from Dylan back last year when he was sort of the main guy. And great to see them get a win and him get a good score. But just scoring across the ball with 3 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, and big run meters as well. And still hardly kicking the footy at 47 kick meters. But Toby Couchman was 69 for him in 69 minutes. Just to finish off with Brown there. Is he someone that you might want to purchase? Look, an 81 gets him to a 45 average. So that shows that he was in the 30s before that. One game, 1 win. Doesn't change that the Eels still aren't a great team. And they're not performing well, which hurts him. But he was much better in this game. With Couchman there, 69 minutes with Gula out after his 44-minute effort last week. With that PPM, is just spectacular. So a point a minute again for him. He was, I think it was missing some points clearly, but it was like 22, 24 just before half time there. So that PPM was a little bit lower. And he came out and did a really good job in the second half and got some extra minutes with the extra 4 in extra time there. But 40 tackles, 1 miss, 3 offloads and 3 tackle breaks is where this score for him is going, and his scoring in general is going to be really cool. If he can perform with these types of attacking stats, even without tries and tries assist, he's got 53 in pure base. He hardly misses tackles, hardly makes an error or a penalty. He's a great option going forward, and the question's going to be, can you fit him in to your plans now they've got through that bye, or does he become a miss for you because you've got other priorities like having Humphreys out and needing a half or a wing fullback, these types of things. So Couchman will be a really interesting one going forward, and a great option. Junior Paulo there with a 72-minute effort, 67 points. So congrats to him on that effort and getting the win finally. He deserves that, and has performed okay this year in the low 40s until this point, up to a 47 average, but massive minutes of 72. Don't know what business he has playing that many minutes, but it worked out. And how Hopgood's playing less minutes. That's the big storyline of this one. Iongi with 59 picked up the try assist, good running meters, good tackle break numbers as well. He was great. It was good to see the quality that he has. It's on show here with a couple of line break assists as well. We knew this game was eventually going to come, but it hadn't come for 4 weeks. And usually at this price point, that's enough for people to get impatient. And I very much almost did. And I was like, if Egan was going to be in my scoring 17, I would have pulled the trigger. But I didn't. So got the good score. Yes, I missed out on Egan's price rise, but Iongi gets a price rise as well. And hopefully he can continue to do pretty well into hopefully when guys like Moses return and he can keep going. So a few people mentioned as well before the game, they're like, well, could this be the Keeney 2.0? A little bit longer than that. It's been 4 games, but he definitely looks good, but probably not to Keeney's level at all right now. But a great score. Happy with that effort. And Lomax, shout out to him as well. 5 goals. Had the field goal as well. 4 tackle breaks, offload, good beaters. Just a solid game all around without being over the top. It's a 52 for him, and a very similar game for Val Holmes. Picked up a offload try assist for Gutho in there, but 5 goals as well. He missed his long-range field goal to win that game. So Val Holmes, a good score there with the 50, and Jaden Sewer, 48 for him in this effort. Pretty solid. Lane played the full game in this one, and Katonga only had he went off just before the full-time buzzer and didn't play that last 6 minutes. So that was the only slight difference. That Lane went the full game compared to last week with less time out there. DeBellin, 46, still an Egan, 46 in 54 minutes. So he basically, without the extra 4 minutes, he got the exact same role as last week, playing 20 through the middle, and then came on with 10 minutes to go in the half, and then played 30 or 34 in the end on that edge with Luciano Leilua only playing the 50. I don't believe there was an injury or anything like that for him, just that they're going to play Egan for good minutes. And that's a great test. It was a great test, I should say. And if Luciano is going to be anywhere 50 to 60, then there's always going to be a spot for Egan in this side, and there should be, because he's a very, very good player. So I'm excited to see him continue to go well out there at 20 years old. And he'll be a target for me next week at a little bit over that 300k range, probably 305 or something like that after that 46. Katonga did fall on that try, which helped him out. He was on like 10 before half time, and then snuck that line break into the forced dropout. So that was rough for non-owners, but a 44 for him, followed up by that good score last week as well. And the 38 before that, he's putting together some nice ones, and he'll be up another 30 odd K this week, and in a really good spot going into next week with that center and the edge duel, playing almost the full game. Should be very happy as owners of him. And if you played him this week over like a Rob Toya, you missed out on 2 points. So it doesn't mean anything there, unless you lost a head-to-head by 1 point. And Tuipulotu with 40 out there. Little played 35 minutes. Oh, an uptick from him. Tuipulotu with the try. Yeah, he's going to peak around this 536 for sure. Adokar with the try as well. 2 line breaks. Damien Cook, 37. He's going to lose some cash now after a pretty good start. And Hopgood here is the story. of this game. 37 for him in 54 minutes and playing the first 20 at hooker, or 19. 3 in 19 minutes at hooker before coming off for Riley Smith and not returning until, basically 10 minutes into the second half and played that last 30 odd. But for him, this is disgusting. If you're an owner of him, you should be absolutely blowing up with this situation. Like, he's pretty well Hopgood, Lomax, Brown. He's one of their 3 best players, and that's not even close. For him to be playing these types of minutes the last few weeks, he's gone under 60s after going 70s and high 60s the first few. Really disappointing. And I know some people are just going to absolutely launch him to the moon in trades next week, and it does make sense, and I understand the frustration. Can he get back to some better scoring? You'd want to hope that Brendan Hands or someone like that does come onto the bench or onto the starting side next week, and apparently he was ill as to why he didn't play. But Hopgood really needs to go back to 13, and if he does, then I think he's a clear hold. If Hands isn't in this side again and this is the way they're going to play it, then I understand the absolute rage sell for him there. Hamish Stewart, apparently the guys were saying that he got given the offloads and tackle breaks from one of the runs that Toby Couchman made. So that did revert a little bit. 37 for him. I think he was in the 40s until that. But a really good score and a good comeback for those that did buy him a couple of weeks ago. It's now worked out a lot better after that 20 odd, and he's playing exactly like we saw him in the first 2 weeks, the first 2 games of him. Big shout out to Riley for his efforts defensively in that game. Picked up a turnover tackle as well, but 66 minutes for him. The 35, it doesn't push his price way too high or get his cash gains absolutely flying, but just another guy, another cash cow that's making money at this point of the season. Is very impressive. Ilias, tough finish for him. A couple of penalties, 3 missed tackles, an error, 27 points, and not fantasy relevant. Sully, 33, Penasini, 21. Just keep an eye out on Penn. He had a really good start to season, and the last few weeks have been low for him. And a 33.6 average now. He's gonna get fairly cheap pretty quickly if he can continue to have these lower types of games. With Offen Gowie playing 22 minutes, Laurie 19, Clemmer the 34. So you can see there the minutes are available for the big dog in Toby Couchman. Just before we go to the next game there, just wanted to give this website another plug. There, yet another fantasy stats site, yafss.com. So with them, you get to see the top 1,000 teams there. It's the easiest way to look at it. They're the benchmark at the moment, and you get to see where they're at in terms of captain. Have they played? It'll say here 2 different numbers. If everyone in the top 1,000 has had their captain play, but it'll say with captain, without captain, with the 2 scores. But right now, I personally have had all 17 players play, and in here is 799 is the pass score or the average there for teams with 17. If you're at 15, it's 705. 14, 658. 16, 752. So just compare that to your side. You'll know where you're at based on rankings usually anyway. And the easiest or the best one I look at is actually how many players are left from each team. And it's generally pretty good apart from loopers and people that haven't made trades yet, and they're still going to make a trade, but generally it's going to be pretty fair. And the majority here, 44%, have 2 players remaining. I personally have 0, so I'm in that 3% and have actually snuck into the top 1,000. Would not read about it, but have used all 17 players and been a good week apart from old Payne Haas and Seyfarth at the end there. That's can we just get a perfect week or close to it? We'll get there one day. I think we had 2 or 3 of them last year, so it's yet to come, but it's been a good one so far for me. Let's not talk about Supercoach with Haas as captain as well, though. Yeah, so that's where you can look at that. You can look at all the trade-ins, the popular trade-ins this week: Jenkins, Katonga, and Dylan Egan. All important trade-ins. People got Thomas Kant coming in, Fletcher Sharp, a few guys like that I'm scared about this week, definitely. And the big trade-out this week was Iongi and Smith, who both played well. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? All right, let's get into that next game, which is going to be the Titans. And this was a frustrating watch for me, unfortunately, as a player with both Titans halves, for them to be, they scored 2 tries at the end, thank goodness, but 36-10 losers to Dolphins, who played incredible. So congrats to them. 55 in 25 minutes, Daniel Saifidi was, before rounding out at a 79 there in 60 minutes with that try. offloads, tackle breaks, the like. Maxi Plath just continues to do the business there. He's got 66 now, and his price is going to be moving right up again after that great couple of scores. 44 tackles, got the try, a couple of turnover tackles as well, and getting that 80 minutes definitely with Gilbert being out. So the question is going to be, does that return back to normalcy and he gets less minutes through the middle, or does Gilbert go back to the middle? A few questions there, but good to see them get a win. Tino was 61 in the 63 minutes there, 31 tackles, 3 offloads, and 190 meters gained. So a much better game for him with less on the negative side, apart from the first minute sim bin. So for him, if you own him, for him to get bin in the first minute, to then go on and get 63 and play the majority of that game, that was a great effort, and he needed it with the team really struggling. Shout out to some guys that aren't fully, highly owned at all in Asako and Hammer for coming out and scoring a try and a try assist each and getting good scores, but not really super relevant at the moment. Unless the Dolphins go on a run, then Asako could be fun to look at. Farnworth, his sideways running, his strength one-on-one is just phenomenal. 14 tackles, no misses, 11 tackle breaks and offload, 158 run meters for 53, and just continues to score well. And will be a good scoring option all year. It's just very obvious that that's where he's going to be. Dave Fafita with 50, end up getting the start, but still 65 minutes. So 10 or so extra minutes. He'll continue to build up. But for him to have 57 run meters, it was a game where they obviously had the ball a lot less than their opposition. And there will be games where they play a lot better because they were very, very poor, unfortunately. And he'll get more run meters and more opportunity for attack. But for him to score a 50 in that time means that he's going to be a very clear option over the next few weeks, and probably doesn't make Origin again, to be honest, with guys like Gilbert returning as well. Tino, they have more options this year. So he becomes a very clear option next week or the week after, especially if he is starting. But they did play Bo Femore at centre, which could mean that if Bo goes back, once they get their edges back, and they probably will want to do that, given they won with Bo at back row and not a centre, then Fafita could go back to the bench. So just be aware of that in team lists and in late changes. Isaiah Katoa, 50 for him, just continues to get the job done, averaging 55 for the year and made plenty of cash. So spoke about him outdoing his average clearly this year, and I didn't think it'd be 55. So congrats to him. He's really dominating and running the footy like crazy. 193 run meters, just wild without a line break. Congrats to him. JMK, Jeremy Marshall King, 48. Cody, 48. Randall, 47. And we go to Campbell, 46 for him. Gee, that try assist taken away with the goal, that would have added to it. He did get the offload at least. But, yeah, missing out on the line break assist, the try assist as well, and the goal just hurts that little bit. Would have put him up an extra 9 points, and he's sitting at 55, and we don't blink an eye. But 46 is a bit frustrating. It's great to see him be able to get 46 in a team that gets absolutely drubbed, and we saw that in round 1 as well. Got 46 in that clash as well as this one, when they get beat pretty poor and don't play very good at all. So when he's got the running, him and Brimson ran the footy a lot more this week. They didn't get rewarded too much with offloads and tackle breaks, unfortunately, but those games will come. And I think it was great to see both of them just playing and running the footy a lot more, which is their strength. And similar with Brimson, he wasn't able to get too many spoils. He had to kick and regather. The way he kicks the ball is still hilarious to me. Even that little grubber. But him kicking in general play, like he hardly hits the footy in the right spot either for a half in this league is funny to watch, but sometimes it can be effective. 99 run meters, come on, give him that extra run. Give him that extra meter, you dogs. 4 tackle breaks, the try, a little bit of kicking. So 4 points in that. Defending much better. 19 tackles, 2 misses. Thank the Lord. 44 for him. Makes money, which is good. 49 into 44, and yes, got attacking stats, but that's him. He's going to be an attacking stat type of player, and probably is worth a hold now. I think they come into a fairly nice run over the next bunch of weeks anyway. Brimo, it's a fun one. I think there's more. Wing fullback is a tough position. I don't know if we can trade heavily in that position right now. Kurt Donahue, 36, played 52 minutes, so good on him. And if he's still holding, he's made a little bit of cash there. Finn with a 34 in 56 minutes. And keep an eye on Mo Fodawaker, guys. He's playing near that 50 minutes and not averaging very well at 36.7. 36.3, and that should turn around a bit for sure, so keep an eye out on him. But they do have guys like they do have guys like Tino return and playing big minutes and doing well. Brock Ray with a few big hits, and shout out to Cleese Haas for a 27 ball in an 80-minute effort. Lem with 23, Ray Stone with 22. Low. He ended up with Sin Bin as well, I suppose. But Beau Fermor, trading him in, that's rough. Man, that's rough. 20 points for him with the try saver, with the 3 missed tackles there. I think Butters was trading him in. I don't know if he actually turned around on that one. I'll go check it out after. But he was trading Garrick to Fermor, which I'm assuming he reversed that when he moved to centre. But yeah, Finn hit a 20 ball. After all the scores that he's had at centre in previous years, it just wasn't going to be the play here. They end up putting him to centre, and he's coming up against, Averillo, he's coming up against Herbie, switching both sides, and yeah, pretty rough out there. And then Bostock, keep an eye on him, guys. 11 there. That'll get his price moving in the wrong direction. But both for more, if you do own, he should go back to the edge next week. Broncos in the Tigers game, 46-24. This was a low-scoring fantasy affair, unfortunately. Unfortunately for my 3 players. The good thing is that I had one really good guy in Stafford Toa. Did get sin bin with 10 seconds to go, so that hurt the soul a little bit, but it would have been a 59. Compared to a 52, it's a small difference. The worry with him compared to Mamazelis's sin bin last week is that with Stafford, he's less owned than Pete. Pete's basically been played by everyone. But you see this game here, only 4 players 50 and above, and only 5 players over 45. So pretty gross there, and you can see that in Payne Haas scoring a very low, a negatives game for him with 2 penalties, 1 early, and people were like, send him off. So I'm glad he didn't, because God, he would have scored even worse. But an error for him. 2 penalties, 25 tackles for no misses was good. To be fair, should have had a miss. I think they end up giving it a penalty when they scored that try for the push. But 130 run meters was a bit low. 2 offloads, thank goodness, but only 1 tackle break. They contained him really well. He definitely didn't look as damaging as that first few weeks, and this is a frustrating thing. Like, when you don't own someone, you're like, oh, it'll come back to the mean, and then he lobs out a 71 minute 106, and you're like, ugh. He just looks way better this year, and then the last 2 weeks, he's 100% come back to the pack and hasn't scored anything PPM-wise like what he had in the first few weeks, and yeah, they're going to defend him differently, and that does open things up in another way when they put three guys on Payne, when they put a couple of guys on Pat Carrigan. Things will change, but yeah, that's the frustrating one. To then captain him, thankfully on the other side of things, Terrell May was the other captain option, and then Cleary, at least I owned Cleary, but yeah, he only scored 5 more than Payne Haas, where if he went 70 odd, that would have been rough. But you can clearly see here the base stat numbers were terrible across the board, with Pat Carrigan playing 68 minutes and having the highest tackle count there at 37. Looking across the board, Alex Seyfarth came in with 27 for the 3rd most, after Terrell May with 32. Payne Haas sitting there with 25 as like the 4th most tackles, which is just disgusting. And Jack Bird in there with 25. So it's just something you don't see, unfortunately. And of course, this was the game where you've got your captain and 3 players, and you don't want it to be a low-scoring affair, but it was, sadly. Compared to that first one with the Raiders, a couple of these first few games of the weeks, there was some better scoring games. This was not the case, and yeah, we got to deal with that. Haas will be better for it. We know that these guys will improve, and we saw that with Isaiah Yeo. The hilarious thing, again, so funny, is that this was in 50 minutes or more. This is Payne Haas's lowest score since 2021 round 10. What is going on with the guns? The gun mids, they're killing us sometimes. May with a 30. Yo with a 30, and then Payne Haas with his lowest score in 5 years or 4 years. So tough times with that. We'll bounce back. We'll be fine. Not the end of the world, but if you don't own Payne Haas, it's a big win. And we've looked at captaincy in the top 1,000. It was 87% had Haas or May, with the other 12% or so, 13% with Cleary. So well done to you guys. You got an extra 27 points on us, which, yeah, that's the way I look at it, guys, and that's exactly what it is. If you own Cleary and Haas, and captain Haas, you lose 27 points. If you own Cleary, captain him, you gain 27. if you own both. Willison, 59 with 2 tries. He looked great. Played the last 40 minutes there, basically, unless he went off at the end. But yeah, he was good. 7 tackle breaks, 2 tries. I wish that was Payne Haas. They was almost as big as each other, and I was like, oh yeah, Payne Haas is going to go over. Oh no, it's Willison. Damn. Payne Haas is off for a million minutes, 30 minutes in a row, to be precise. But Galvin, 56, looked good again. With no Luai, looks like he's potentially going to be named next week. So good score from Galvs. Carrigan, 53, doing his work. 52 for the season, solid. Safatoa, what a jet. He's been owning since round 1. He's going to be up almost 200k over 4 weeks, which is incredible. 52 for him. Terrell May, 49. Played 70 minutes, so he's going to keep getting big minutes. As we said there, the base stat game was low in this one. 32 tackles, 1 miss. 2 tackle breaks and offload, 145 on the running side. And he played his heart out and still only got 49 points. So when there's 70 points in the game, scoring-wise, and it's just wild that like there's doubles, and 2 doubles, they couldn't get over 60. It just tries for all guys that weren't super relevant, and you lost Reynolds to injury, and there's 2 tries down here for Arthurs, 1 for Shiba, 1 for La Lily, and 1 for Billy Walters. So it's just a bit all over the shop with the scoring in this game. Payne Haas, who's got him, just a bit of a rough one. He'll bounce back. Cobbo, 42 with a line break try assist and a try saver. Turnover tackle, so good stuff there for him with all that effort, but still to get 42. He's going to be so cheap. Pakes with another try assist, just doing it every week. 40 for him, another price rise, doing good work. Sione Fainu there, that was a terrible defensive effort from those guys for him to get that try. Hetherington, 39, and we saw Alex Twal. You just see there the base stats just so down. For him to play 47 minutes and not go a point a minute, it means something's going wrong there. So Twali, 35 in that one. Back-to-back low scores, which is tough for owners of him. But he'll definitely bounce back, and so will all these guys in a better scoring game. We've got Reynolds in there, 33 and 46. He kicked 4 goals, got a 2-point field goal there, let try for himself. A great effort until the tightness comes in. So hopefully it's not too bad. And he can, even if it's a week off next week, can come in and play the following and do some good work. And Fanua Pole, who had a cracker last week, back to a 33 in 51 minutes with 3 tackle breaks there. Hunt, 31 with a good effort there. Good try assist for him. Should have almost scored. No. Walshy, 31. He definitely played better, but still 4 missed tackles, 2 errors. Kicked the footy a little bit. Kicked 4 goals in the end with Reynolds going off in that second half. So it would have been another low score. I think it was like near 0 at half time again. People that are looking to jump on him, he's averaging 29. It could turn around, but it's not even looking like it yet. So please, if you don't own him right now, just continue to watch and see. Like, he could get to like 400k and just continue to score terrible. He could turn around next week if he's the goal kicker and he could get a 60 or something. But you just got to wait, dudes. Like, Seyfarth did a nothing game and almost outscored him with 30. So 27 tackles for him, 1 miss. Run meters for 31. Whew, tough going. He had 1 good bump on Goz, and I was like, oh, jump off, buddy. Come on. Get Payne Haas back on, but wasn't the case. So 30 for Seyfarth. I think we're going to hold after that 60. Like, his break-even is not going to be too high. See what happens over the next few weeks and make some decisions around him. Like, if you could get Seyfarth to Fafita, to Preston, to all these types of guys, that could be really cool. Buller, Dewey, Bird, all lower scores there for them. Dewey longer term, do we want him in the centres? It's a tough one. Had no goals in this. Wait, how did that work? Was Appy kicking goals again? Where's Appy? Did I go through him? Appy kicked goals, didn't he? There he is, 2 goals. Yeah, so Dewey lost his goal kicking after the groin issue. Okay, I wonder if that'll stick or not. So if he's not goal kicking, it makes it really hard to hold him, for sure. Arthur's with the 2 try at 27. Again, just a terrible scoring game, so that makes sense for him with just the 1 line break. Shibasaki, same deal. Got that try at the end. Thought he might get a little line break in there, but wasn't the case. Given I played him in Supercoach. Coruscant, 18 in 57 minutes, so he's getting a rest. That score's going to keep... that price is going to get low. It's going to get low. And then shout to Pikura. Hopefully he's okay after that really, really bad knock. And we saw Latu Fainu go off as well with a... Was he a concussion as well, I believe? So yeah, 48 minutes for him. Not good. Talon De Silva, 23. Okay, everyone did a good job, but that was that. And then Jack Goz, the trap. The trap of all traps, continues to trap. He started so well too, and then they scored well last week, and I actually had him fairly high on my cheapy rankings to play this week. It was definitely not a buy. I didn't think it was a sell, but now he is clearly a sell. 52 minutes for 5. It's just gross, and I don't want to talk about it any longer because that's just absolutely disgusting. So we'll leave that one here, guys. Won't go through the Supercoach stuff as I'm heading off soon. I'm going to get a couple of videos done. So that's the 3 games from Saturday night. I hope that this video finds you well, and I wish you guys luck into the last 2 games. But personally, from fantasy perspective, I hope that they are low scoring on my for my team, but for your teams, I hope you do really well. And a massive shout out to Brad Horn, who did jump on the channel on Monday night when I had the 4 top 75 guys on the video. He's actually pushed himself into first overall, which to be first overall at any stage through a season is absolutely incredible. He has played all 17 players, so he will drop out of that first spot. But as I said, it's very difficult to get to that point, and we've got a few guys in the top 30 odd right now from the private crew, and just a massive shout out to them. And I think they have players remaining, so maybe they'll end up close to Brad in the end. In that sort of anywhere near that top 10 to 15, 20 would be absolutely incredible. So shout out to everyone doing well. Hope you have a cracking day. Enjoy the footy, enjoy the sunshine if you're in New South Wales somewhere, and we'll see you in the next one.